Tape. Dr. Carson, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Nice to be with you.
So what is your reaction to this, Dr. Carson, that Trump says, look, I'm not even going to show up?
Well, actually, I don't have much of a reaction to it because it's really not about him. It's not about me. It's not about anybody except the American people and the opportunity to really give them a vision into what we propose as the solutions for the multitudinous problems. Our nation is about to go off the cliff. We are fundamentally changing into something else, and we need to talk about the solutions, not about personalities.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, and you actually have come out with specifics on your tax plan, on your foreign policy, which I want to get to. But do you think that this opening gives you and the other candidates on stage more of an opportunity to do that, to drill down, given the fact that Donald Trump won't be there?
Well, it's always good to have more of an opportunity. Anytime you can get beyond a 30-second or 1-minute soundbite, you're going to be able to connect with people, no question about that.
And I think that's why you and your colleagues connected in our last debate. Let me ask you, Dr. Carson, for some more specifics on your tax plan, because a lot of smart people were talking about your tax plan as arguably being the best out there in the GOP field, because you've got a flat tax, but there's no so-called vet tax included. Explain the details of your tax plan. What do you want to do?
Well, basically, what I'm looking at is liberty and justice for all being the important word. And so that's why I propose a flat tax, 14.9%. Eventually, it will come down from there. But we have a lot of issues that we have to deal with right now. No deductions, no loopholes, no shelters, no double taxation, no death tax. All of those things are gone. So this becomes an exceedingly pro-growth type of agenda. And what you need if you really want growth is an atmosphere that encourages entrepreneurial risk-taking and capital investment. Those are the fuels for the most powerful economic engine the world has ever known. We have stifled it with the policies, and then we sit there and we blame other people. We say, it's the rich, and if we take their money, we can solve this problem. That won't solve any problems. That will just make everybody poor. That's what's called socialism. America better wake up quickly before we wind up there.
Yeah, do you think people are just not understanding your tax plan? I'm trying to understand why you're not resonating more and your numbers are not higher, Dr. Carson.
Because people don't talk about it. I appreciate the fact that you're talking about it now,
yeah.
But mostly they want to talk about some other personality, and that's a problem.
Yeah,
it's
sure
a real
is.
problem.
Let me ask you about your plan against ISIS. I read your recent op-ed on foreign policy. Tell us about your plan to defeat ISIS, sir.
Well, first of all, we have to be willing to call radical Islamic jihadists what they are. And then we have to be able to attack their caliphate and not allow them to spread that caliphate. That means working in conjunction with our military experts, explaining the plan to them, and then having them tell us what they need in order to accomplish that. We do it just the opposite way. We say we need this many troops, or we need this and that and the other, and we're trying to dictate to them. That is silly. And then we also have to deprive them of their economic resources. ISIS is the wealthiest terrorist organization in the world. We have to shut down their monetary channels. We have to attack their command and control centers. We have to come to this country and recognize that if we don't seal our borders, then we are just spitting in the ocean. And we need to work with the imams and the clerics, make sure that they understand that they have to work with us. They don't have a choice. And if they don't, then we have to look at them and treat them in a very different way, because we have to protect our people. We need to declare war on ISIS. We need to revamp our immigration and visa programs. All of these things are necessary to protect the American people.
Yeah, so what does that mean on a practical basis, though? I mean, we've had airstrikes underway now for, 18 months? Are they working?
Not very well, because they're not well coordinated. You have to have the right advanced people on the ground coordinating that. And, it worked very well, for instance, in Sinjar a few months ago. ISIS had taken that city. What we did is, in conjunction with the Kurds, we cut off the supply routes to Sinjar, and then with our special ops people, they were able to go in with a softened target and airstrikes behind them and complete the job quite easily. When it's done that way, it works.
Well, you've been in Iowa now for a little bit. What are you hearing from potential voters, Dr. Carson, in terms of what's most important to them right now?
Well, I think they're extraordinarily concerned about their own security and the security of their children, but also about the financial well-being of our country. We are undermining the financial foundation of this country with the continued borrowing from the next generation. Thomas Jefferson said that that was immoral. He would probably have a stroke if he came today and saw what we were doing.
Yeah, I think this is a really good point. So what is your plan then to make the entitlement programs, for example, more financially secure? I mean, most people say that it's Social Security, Medicare that are in fact bankrupting us and creating this theft of the next generation.
Well, they are bankrupting us. You know, most people have no idea what the fiscal gap is, all the unfunded liabilities, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, all the governmental programs, versus what we have coming in terms of taxes and other resources. The other resources, that's the problem. This country owns $150 trillion in resources. You give that to a well-run company, and just a 2% return would eliminate the kind of debts that we have. We don't run it efficiently. So I'm talking about a comprehensive plan for beginning to run the government like you would run a business. I've had many years of experience in corporate America and understand what efficiency looks like.
So what does that mean, Dr. Carson, in terms of a specific, like, for example, Social Security? Are you going to push the retirement age out? Give me one or two specifics in that regard.
Well, first of all, I think we're scheduled to run out of money in Social Security in 2033 if we don't do anything. If we get the economy working again, it gives us a lot more time. But specifically, I think for people under the age of 50, we're going to have to very, very gradually begin to raise the retirement age. And for people under 30, I think we need to come up with a whole new system whereby they will have the ability to direct the resources that are put into their accounts so that they will have a very substantial amount of money by the time they retire. But I'm not sure that a lot of that will be necessary if we fix the economy. Those are things that we will have to do if we continue along with this so-called new economy.
Yeah.
But I don't believe in this new economy.
I see what you're
believe
saying.
that we have the ability to go back to the old economy.
If in fact we were to see growth, then that changes a lot, for sure. How have these debates been for you, Dr. Carson? I mean, when you look at the impact of the debates, you're able to speak to obviously tens of millions of voters. Has it been impactful for you going up against all your colleagues on the debate stage and getting an opportunity to speak to millions at once?
Well, certainly it's better than if you didn't have them. But honestly, I would prefer a different type of forum where, you know, you maybe put somebody on the stage for 15 minutes and you ask that person questions and let them really go into some depth. It's something like we've done here just now, so that people can actually get a real impression of what you're talking about. What we've fashioned is really sort of a game. Who can get a soundbite out in 30 seconds or 60 seconds? Something that experienced politicians are very good at. But that has led us to where we are now. We have to stop playing games and really get to the reasons that a person believes what they believe and what the real solutions are.
Well, you know, you've been very vocal and sort of articulate on these issues when you actually start talking about foreign policy, tax policy. Earlier, Senator Cruz said, look, he wants to go one-on-one with Donald Trump. He doesn't want to be involved in the debate. Fine, let's go one-on-one. Would you consider doing one-on-one debate with Donald Trump?
I would go one-on-one with anybody. I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Yeah.
I would welcome an opportunity to talk in depth about foreign policy, about national
I would think
security.
so, because you've got the goods. I mean, you're coming out with the specifics, and you actually want to talk about real specifics and granular subjects.
And I would say if anybody really wants to know what we think, go to our website, bencarson.com. We have loads of policy out there. And that has been the case, for a month now, since we've made the changes in the campaign. Stuff has been getting out there, and people can understand what we're talking about.
How do you think this upcoming Thursday night debate will be different than past debates?
hopefully they'll be able to focus on everybody rather than a specific candidate. That's going to help quite a bit. And as far as I'm concerned, as you saw in the last debate, I'm a little more aggressive. I'm going to get even more aggressive this time.
Wow.
I'm not going to hit anybody with anything. But believe me, we're going to be talking about what we believe in.
Hey, I like this. Dr. Carson with the Dukes up. All right, we're going to watch you Thursday night. Thank you so much, sir.
All right. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you very much. Dr. Ben Carson there. Don't miss the final Republican presidential debate before the Iowa caucuses. Tune in tomorrow night on the Fox News Channel. Ben Carson getting more aggressive, he just said. The first debate starts at 7 p.m. Eastern, and the second debate follows at 9 p.m. Eastern. And, of course, don't miss